development of the Post-it note is one of the most celebrated within 3M, but it illustrates many of the principles that have made this company so successful. It's one that I know something about because I was fortunate enough to be personally involved. Post-it notes came as a result of many failures and accidents. In fact, it took some 10 years before we finally got this program to market, and there were more failures than I care to think of. The story begins in 1964 when Spence Silver was experimenting with new kinds of polymer-based adhesives. What Silver actually developed, instead of a better adhesive, was a worse one. No one was very interested, but he fell in love with his new creation. The first setback was that the official program he was involved with ended. However, he battled for the money to get his adhesive patented, and he continued to look for other applications. One of the problems, of course, was that Silver was immersed in a culture that says adhesives go on tapes. 3M has over 1,000 different varieties. To imagine a piece of paper that eliminated the need for tape was almost a heresy. It wasn't until 1973 that Silver described this new type of adhesive to me, and I decided to put some people onto it. The guy had been fighting his cause for years and deserved some support. And so we started working on a myriad of applications for this unique adhesive. Tapes, bulletin boards, and one of the people working in the lab was Art Fry. He used to sing in a church choir and mark up his hymn books with little slips of paper. His little slips of paper were always falling out. It was while trying to find his place again that he suddenly had his idea of how to use Spence Silver's adhesive. What Silver and the rest of 3M and his colleagues in the lab hadn't realized in years, Fry realized in an instant. Fry worked on his idea with as much enthusiasm as Silver. And one of the problems was how to apply adhesive to the continuous roll of paper. He built a machine in his basement and he modified it until he'd solved the many problems. Unfortunately, the modified machine was too big to fit through his basement door, so he had to cut a hole through the wall to get it out. It was 2 years before Post-it notes were ready for the market. I gave them away free throughout 3M, and everyone fell in love with them. But the first reports back from the 4-city market test said that they wouldn't sell. The program was dying again, so I convinced Joe Ramey, the division vice president, to come with me and sell the product. I guess without our trip, 3M would have ceased production of Post-it notes. The tests had failed in Richmond because we had just placed the product in distribution rather than the actual use of the product. You have to use Post-it notes to really appreciate them. So we went around that city from office to office with an order book, and the rest is really history. There are all kinds of morals that can be drawn from this story. The importance of experimenting with ideas, being allowed to work on your own pet projects. Not giving up in the face of discouragement, hanging in there when the whole world is against you. All of this is one of the reasons why we have the 15% rule, so that you can pursue your own interests outside of your primary assignments. And even if the project had failed, it wouldn't have been a problem for Spence Silver, Art Fry, or myself. 3M realizes that failure should always be a learning experience. We have to take risks if we're going to grow.